Back in 1994, a roommate and I wound up writing a treatment. There's nobody here still. Continue without TikTok. That's fine. That's what I'm going to have to do for the rest of my life. So, get ready for, shoot, I can't do it. I cannot do this on TikTok. TikTok's being very mean to me right now. I wonder if I could attach my phone to the top and you don't have to look at my face. You could read along with me. Progressive will lose their subscription benefits soon. Invite to join as a live guest. Good Lord. Hello, the two people that are here. I don't know. Maybe Progressive Geek. You are here. It gave me a warning that says you are about to lose your subscription benefits. I'm like, what subscription benefits? It's been a while. Hello, Kylie. So here's what I'm doing. On other platforms, I'm able to do this. You're looking at my dumb face on TikTok, and I'm sorry. Is it Kylie? Kylie, I'm sorry that you have to see this. But I wrote a script with my roommate back in 1994. That's how old I am. Hello, Marshall. I wrote a script for Bionic Ever After Bionic Ever After. So there was a $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman were their own shows in the 70s. They then had a made-for-TV movie, I think 2 of them, but this one was called Am I Doing Well? Hello, Ark. Good Lord, everybody's here now. See, on the other platforms, you get to see me and get to see all of this. So here's what I'm doing. Ark, I'm doing it for everybody here and here. So you're going to see me looking in 2 different places. I'm sorry about this. TikTok has revoked my live status because when they did that transfer back in January, when they did the cutover, I can't do this anymore. Anyways, so back in 1984, I wrote a script along with my roommate for what happened after the made-for-TV movie Bionic Ever After. Progressive Geek, it's wonderful seeing you. I am sorry that you're not in Amsterdam still, but thank you. Thank you for always being so supportive. I appreciate it. Hey, our radio, good Lord, I'm getting the gang back together. Hello, our radio and Joel and Acrylic Katie. So here's what I'm doing. I'm reading right now. Unfortunately, on TikTok, you can't see this. TikTok has ruined the ability for me to stream from my computer. So every other platform, Ark, I'm doing great. I'll come back to you in a second. How are you? I'm fine. Hello, it says join my team. Who did that? Progressive Geek, you're the best. Thank you so much. I have not bought coins. They took coins from me and I never got them back. So I'm like, why would I give you more money right now? I haven't bought any advertising. I haven't really done anything on TikTok, except this has owned my life for the last couple of days. I've got 2 scripts currently in the works right now. One is the Love Connection show, which I will do later. It's basically in the era of time travel. It's a love connection show where somebody from the future goes back to the past to visit their old self to fix a problem, like a key moment in their lives. Yeah, again, this is 2, 3, I'm working on 2 right now. But that love connection one is always about the person from the future coming back to the past to fix, they give them 3 moments from their past where the timeline diverted and the person from the future goes back to help them fix the past. And every episode ends with the person from the future killing the person from the past or vice versa. Like they cannot work, like you cannot work with your past self is the whole idea. So even if you could fix things in the past, a friend told me that they had their coins. Yeah, again, I lost. So here's the deal. Right before, sorry about this, Neil, I moved into my new house 2 weeks ago. I cannot wait to talk about that, Ark. This is crazy. Again, usually this is all on the same screen, so I'm jumping back and forth. Give me a second, Ark. I will come right back. Right as they did the cutover in January, it was the end of TikTok. So what I was doing is I purchased an ad. I bought an ad. I spent, I think, $150, I think, on an ad to get it to go before, on the last day. Like, here's where you can reach me. Here's the thing. So I went on PayPal, did the whole transaction, got the $150 spent. My ad was never approved. And so I'm like, oh, can I get the $150 back? There's no record of that. It doesn't show up in the log, even though PayPal has, like, I had to start a freaking ticket over at PayPal, but PayPal's like, you've already paid them. You already agreed to pay them in the past. So whatever, it's crazy. So I lost 150 bucks there, and then I lost all my coins. What does this say? It says swipe for what? I don't even want to know. Oh, just did it. Never mind, I'm not going to do that either. So here's what I'm doing. No, Ark, you're totally fine. I just have to jump between two screens. So here's the deal. This is my Bionic Ever After. So if anybody's ever seen the Bionic, they're terrible. $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman, they're just so dated. But the movie that took place in 1994 is just ridiculously bad. And I'm going to go over it very quickly so you get to see what I'm... See, again, I wish that I could have something on the screen. You're just going to hear my voice. So this, if you're on TikTok, listen, just put it on as a podcast. That's what this is. So now I'm jumping over to talk to Ark. Ark, it sounds like Back to the Future. It kind of is like Back to the Future, except it's a TV show. So the whole concept is just a TV show where they don't care about messing up the timeline. And again, this was written a long time ago. This was written before timelines were hackneyed. But the idea was go back and like repair. Like if I could go back in time and fix this, I would. You can't. You can never go back. I'm on YouTube right now, so this is where I'm going to be right now. I could switch platform if you want to. PG, you're more than welcome to. I'm over on they're going to cancel the stream if I say it, but I'm over on the YouTubes. Who cares? Everybody, the reason why I wanted to put it on TikTok is because I posted about this, and that's what spawned it. TikTok 2 days ago had me pick this back up again and rewrite the treatment for the second half. Okay, now I'm over on YouTube, so if you want to be over there, YouTube. All right, so Ark, let's see what we got without killing the bit. I got to go way back. You got so much in here. Hello, Neil, you're alive. I am alive, barely. Are you doing well? I'm fine. Thank you for asking. How are you? It sounds like I'm going to get to that answer right now. Neil, I moved into my house 2 weeks ago. That is awesome. Please tell me all about that. When did you move? I had no idea. Invite Know Me For You live as a guest. I'm going to do that later. Hello, Know Me For You. You're awesome. I'm reading a script I wrote. This is an old script, but I rewrote what is it called? Like a made-for-TV movie was out in 1994 called Bionic Ever After, and it's bad. It's so bad. Know Me For You. If you're still here, please just give me a thumbs up because I want to. This is for you. This is freaking hilarious. Because I'm only going to say this if they're here. This is funny. Hello, and eyeballs. Oh, please. I wouldn't stick around either because it's boring here. But anyways, here's the deal. And again, I'm coming back to Ark in a second. The deal with the show is that on Bionic Ever After, 1994, it's two $6 Million Man people, right? Hello, there, perfect, you're there. So $6 Million Man, the Bionic Woman, and I've got a cat. This just gets better. This is so much better than what I normally do. So, $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman. They are both like action stars, even though they're kind of bad action, but they were action stars. The 1994 movie is like a Lifetime movie of the week. All dialogue, just bad. There's very little action in it. So here's the deal. Bionic Man, 6 Million, Steve Austin and Jamie Summers, Bionic Woman, they're going to get married. But shortly before the wedding, Bionic Woman gets a computer virus and she's going to die. And so this is where it's crazy. And this is why this is such a violation, because this is 1994, the same year of the last season of The Next Generation. So I figured we had already solved sexism. We had already solved racism because I'm an idiot. I don't know anything. I'm a white suburbanite. I don't know, at this point, nothing in my life. So in 1994, the Bionic Man and $6 Million, Bionic Man and Bionic Woman, she gets a computer virus, takes her to the hospital. They fix her by replacing her chips and her power unit, but also the doctor subtly nods and says, and I made a few enhancements while I was in there, which was freaking just insane. Like, that was, sure, why not? What the heck, your property. Then he kisses her on the head. And so that's amazing. That's not at all what I thought was going on in 1994, but apparently it is. Rampant sexism, like women are property, like we can do whatever we want to your bodies. And that was a doctor, and she's like, okay, whatever. They eventually do get married at the end of the episode, right? But it's just like, I had to make this treatment. as an extension of like what happened. Like, why did they have to get married? Why did she have to go through this surgery so quickly and then jump right into marriage? Because there's a story to that. Some Stepford Wives stuff, no doubt. Like, it is gross. It's like no bodily autonomy. It's like, you know what? We put some bionics in you, so now you're property. Like, that's not what they're saying. They're saying, well, we know it's best because you're a woman. That's what they're saying. It's like, what? So this is written in 1994. This is an add-on. So after Bionic Ever After, we watched it in 1994. My roommate and I wrote this little treatment of way after, because we were oblivious to that scene. That scene was just dumb, or like, oh my God, I can't believe the doctor kissed her. That was not, our 20-year-old brains were not capable of handling what we were seeing. We just didn't, it was oblivious. And again, we weren't dating a lot of girls. We were not very popular. So we didn't have them for counsel. But now I'm taking this and I'm adding on a whole new segment. And that was prompted by a TikTok from 2 or 3 days ago. So jumping back over, Ark, I'm going to finish. I'm going to be over on YouTube. You can see the script and everything. I've got pictures. Hang on a sec. Can you do this? I'm going to be reading the whole thing. It's got pictures and that. Who cares? But yes, if you want to see the whole thing, go over to YouTube. And again, I only realized now that I don't have access to TikTok Live anymore. So you can't see my beautiful screen that I'm sharing. All right. You moved into a house. That sounds like Back to the Future without killing the bit. Sorry, you're not killing the bit. Come to YouTube. I'm there. I'm getting caught up. Oh, Progressive Geek is over here. I mean, it feels like TikTok doesn't want you to go live. No, it doesn't. TikTok wants me dead. TikTok doesn't care about me. TikTok's like my high school girlfriend. Like, she doesn't even remember that I exist. Well, like any girlfriend. Doesn't have to be my high school girlfriend. I had girlfriends in high school, I swear to God. I moved March 30th and have barely anything. Basic stuff like TV, Xbox, and bed. You know what? You got the Trinity. You got the Xbox, you got the TV and the bed. The only thing you're missing, like when I would move into a new place, stereo. So I'd have music. So it would be stereo, TV, game system, and bed. That's it. That's all you really need. Neil not popular with the girls? That's shocking, truly. I mean, all of this, look, they missed out. Could have had it. Good Lord. That I'm making myself feel bad. All right. So without further ado, and I'm not sure if you can even read what's on the screen, but I will read it for you. So again, anybody over on the Tickety Talks, I'm over on the YouTubies because I have to read it from the screen on YouTube and Instagram. Everywhere else you can see the stuff. You just can't see it on TikTok. All right. I'm done with that. It's all about you, Ark and Progressive. And whomever else is here. I've got 15 comments here. All right, here we go. Bionic Ever After. I recently uncovered a sketch. I'm just going to reiterate all this. Who just texted? They missed out. Truly, they absolutely did. So we now know that Jamie almost died, but she got the surgery and then they got married. So the epilogue or the key points are this. Instead of, like delaying the wedding, or just like, instead of delaying it, or just like the doctor completely decides to replace Jamie's like power supply and chipsets. After surgery, the doctor informs Jamie that he's taken the opportunity to make some improvements. These are all time-stamped, so I can share that. Dakota. Wait, Dakota. Good Lord, what the? I'm like reading it like I'm Japanese. Dakota Shia. Welcome. Thank you for coming over to the other side. Again, I'm platform agnostic, but now you can see what I was talking about. You get the screen and everything. Bankrupt Barry's here. By the way, anybody who's here, I know there's very few. It's live. I'm don't do this. Bankrupt Barry is the biggest hidden gem on this platform. Unreal. We met in the Elephant Graveyards chat, but man, Bankrupt Barry on YouTube, the amount of effort. I figured it was Dakota. I figured it was, but yes, you are awesome. Thank you so much for coming over too. But Bankrupt Barry, absolutely check out his YouTube channel. The effort is beyond, like he reviews movies as it's him and a co-host, let's just say. But then now there's like multiple co-hosts and they're reviewing movies like The Goonies and, I didn't even say Goonies. It's Goonies, Gremlins, Scrooged. I've watched about 15 of them. Just awesome. Be there before he blows up, because he will. He's amazing. All right, welcome here. Welcome to the dark side indeed. So here's the story. Bankrupt, if you're still here, you probably know. I'm not fibbing. I'm not telling the truth. The Bionic movie that aired in 1984, Bionic Ever After, just as terrible. But I rewatched it because I hate myself. And Dr. Rudy Wells, that's the Bionic Woman's doctor, replaced her power supply and chipsets. But he also made some modifications, wink. And aside from the breach of ethics, the violation of his Hippocratic oath, and the decision to play God with Jamie's life by just inserting untested and likely radioactive gear from OSI, everyone's cool. Everyone's like, oh, totally awesome. And Jamie and Steve get married. That's great. Neil Sonic sends his regard. He's been made to work a different shift today. He wants to be here, but work, obviously. Don't worry about it. You're too kind, Neil. I'm intrigued by the writing. Yeah, so I'm writing 2 treatments right now. Not that I've been hired to do it. I'm my own audience these days. Bankrupt, I'm doing exactly what you're doing. I'm entertaining myself. Eventually someone will catch on. Okay, so here's the treatment after. So why did they have to get married? Like, what's going on? Like, what happened after this? Like, she's got all these untested parts. By the way, this gets very dark. So I'm going to keep checking back. If I hit territory you are not comfortable with, I will stop reading this. This is going to get real bad. I wonder what modifications you made. Yes, correct. But why did he do this? Like, what's going on here? I loved the series when I was a kid, but don't remember seeing the movie. I was a huge Steve Austin. I had the freaking toy with the freaking bionic eye that you could look through. And I even had the medical table. I loved Evel Knievel, Evel Knievel and Steve Austin. Loved them. I didn't watch much of the Bionic Woman because I either aged out or I was a boy. Like, I didn't know. Like, I watched what was on the TV because I had an older brother. I mean, whatever. I'm not blaming anybody. I was 5 years old. Why am I making excuses? All right. So the reason that Jamie and Steve, the reason why $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman had to get married wasn't out of love, but due to public sentiment turning on the Office of Scientific Intelligence. Okay, so anybody who's watched the Bionic Woman or $6 Million Man knows that the OSI was a branch that nobody knew about the Bionics. Nobody knew that $6 Million Man or the Bionic Woman existed. They were out of the public record. So all of the money that was being dumped into OSI, like, there was no result because it was hidden. Stone Cold Steve Austin would be completely different. Yeah, that's a whole different story. Back in the 90s, someone was like, oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm like, oh, yeah. Wait, I don't remember him being called Stone Cold. Like, and they're talking to me about, like, him jumping off, and I'm like, oh, my God, is the show back on? I had no idea they were talking about a wrestler. So I've been old since, oh, my God, since the mid-90s. Good Lord, I just realized I'm watching Bionic Ever After in 1994, and I'm completely clueless when someone mentions who Stone Cold Steve Austin is in 1995. I was one of the Golden Girls, apparently. All right, so since the OSI could never admit they'd been successful with bionic implementation, Oscar Goldman's program was largely considered a failure. Someone would say something to him, and he would just go, what? 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 That guy's great, freaking hilarious. What's your catchphrase? What? It's awesome. Oscar Goldman, by the way, ECW. That was my foray into wrestling. ECW or bust. Paul Heyman, he's one of the greatest promoters in history. Oscar Goldman's program was considered a failure. So with political pressure building, the funding for OSI was to be entirely cut, and plans for a full departmental audit were fully underway. As more information began to come to light about how much money was being siphoned into OSI, Steve Austin began to be accosted by reporters at his home, fielding questions on why an advisor, basically an ex-astronaut, ex-military person, is drawing such a large salary and taking so many trips to see foreign dignitaries. ECW is awesome. So effectively, as more information comes out, like, it becomes like, where was this money going? Let's get deeper. So there was reporting going on, and they were figuring out what's happening. And of course, Steve Austin is taking all these private jets to freaking take care of OSI's business. He killed a lot of people, by the way. Steve Austin in the books, in the $6 Million Man books, he was more like a James Bond. He was a murderer. He was like the Nathan Drake of his time from Uncharted, just murdering people. He's so dreamy. All right. So with the heat turning up, Oscar Goldman, who most people don't know at this point, he is the head of OSI, the Office of Scientific Intelligence, or what is it? It used to be the Office of Scientific Operations, but now it's the Office of Scientific Intelligence. I looked at the wiki. I know what I'm talking about. Okay. With the heat turning up, Oscar Goldman, head of OSI, realizes that he's not going to be able to keep his bionic duo, Austin and Summers. They're going to lose their anonymity and create a real humdinger of a problem for the OSI. See, I'm using the terms from the 70s. It's bad enough to look like you're embezzling funds from the American taxpayer, but playing God? If the public were to find out, why, it would be worse than the time OSI's fertility division developed that aerosol spray that allowed men to ovulate and get pregnant. That didn't happen. Nathan Drake kills people when it's necessary. When it's unnecessary, 100%. Nathan Drake could be like, not kill anybody. He chooses to kill everyone. And just because he's cavalier about it. Okay, so the OSI has already done some ne'er-do-well things. This didn't happen. This is in my universe, that they made a pregnancy spray that could like invert the testes into the body. It's a long story. I have a breakdown on the side over here of how these things happen. Hang on a sec. I'm going to ruin this. Hold on. Over here, I've got notes of how that happens. Or like, here's what you need to know about the pregnancy situation. So OSI allowed men to ovulate and get pregnant and they got discovered because the amount of tampon sales and abortion clinic traffic spiked in the area. The OSI had to briefly form their own religion to control the narrative and outrage. So with the spike in abortions in that town, the religious groups around the area started coming. So the OSI had to form their own religion to say, we've got this. We're covered. We're just as mad. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, Ark. So OSI formed their own religion to control the outrage. However, it was that exact experience that led Oscar to a solution that, if not resolved, the press would surely dub Goldman's Bionic Boner, which was the name of this treatment. The treatment was called Goldman's Bionic Boner because there's so much money. That's hilarious. It's a boner joke. Okay. Just talking about spray makes your testicles retract made me uneasy. Well, it should. But that's what the OSI does. They're just like, they don't think about if they should do it. They just think if you could. Like, it's coulda, not shoulda. I think it's a Patton Oswalt bit. Goldman begins working. Okay. Knowing this, he has to work with the PR team to create a series of campaigns to further humanize his bionic abominations. So since nobody outside OSI knew that Steve and Jamie had bionics running through every organ and orifice, having the two of them wed would be a perfect cover for getting these two out of the country on their honeymoon. So as the heat comes up, get these two married, get them out of the country. Truly, truly hard, Ark. That's good. You get a star for that one. So they make, and who cares, right? Goldman's and the PR team say, we got to get these two married. We'll get them out of the country and we can deal with them later. Steve Austin was briefed on his latest mission, minus one detail, Plan B, which is funny because it's Plan B. Oscar worked with Strategic Air Command to execute the top secret plan for dropping the newlywed couple into an active volcano, thus shoring up all loose bionic ends. Science does ask. That is true, Barry. Bancroft says, science doesn't ask why. It asks, why not? Sure. What's the harm? They don't even ask that. They don't even, what's the harm? Okay, so Steve knows the plan to get married to get them out of the country. He does not know that the people flying them there are going to Joe versus the volcano them because volcanoes were a huge deal, both in the 70s. Quicksand volcanoes Let's see, what else was big? Tornadoes. Like there were like natural disasters and things that could kill you were huge. So volcanoes, perfect. It fits the time. Okay, so this whole show is on YouTube. Bionic Ever After. Do not watch it. It'll take years off your life. I swear. It's terrible. Hey, Active, welcome aboard. Geez, I didn't even see Active's there. I was waiting for him. During the wedding, Jamie Summers and Steve Austin, Steve Austin's like, I do. And he kisses her with the most god-awful kiss you can imagine. Let's see if I can even get it. It's bad. Can I get it? Oh, good Lord, that guy's creepy. Okay, so I'm going to do this just because I hate you all. Get ready for it. It's beautiful. Hold on. We're going to put this right. Get it? What? Really? For a kiss? We're doing this for a kiss? This kiss is so flippin' uncomfortable. I can't even get over it. All right. They're going to kiss.
Forevermore?
Get through it.
Through you part?
Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Oh, Oscar.
Excuse me, now you can say it.
Good Lord. This is the 90s. We learned to kiss by this point. Like we had understood how to kiss. This is not like new technology. But I guess they're bionics. You can't teach a bionic man how to kiss. That is just a weird kiss altogether. That face could be a meme. Yeah, that is good. That's the priest. He's all mad because he's like, what's going on? Priest doesn't know. He was just hired in. He was brought in, which you'll hear. The OSI has their own party division. So he is part of their celebrations team. So they just hire him. He doesn't know. He's just like, these people are ruining my job at this thing. He's going to be hired for other events. He should not be this upset. So during the wedding, like that happens. They kiss and they get out. Austin had to end the wedding very quickly because they were behind schedule. And so he was well aware that there was a helicopter on their way to take the married couple to a local Air Force base where they would hop on a plane that would escort them safely out of the country. What he wasn't aware of is that Jamie's recent, can we see this? Yes. What Steve wasn't aware of is that Jamie's recent surgical enhancement made her a ticking time bomb. Hot indeed. Bankrupt Barry, that's why I have to show you from this up. It is just 1.5 inches. It's like a piece of granite down there. It's very, very hard to read this. I lose my place because I just get all hot and bothered. So here's the thing. So Jamie's now a ticking time bomb, but why? That's the hook, right? What's going on with Jamie? So Oscar was also oblivious to this fact as he paid little attention to the post-op Jamie. Like, she got the new stuff in. I don't care. Do whatever you want, Doc. We're just going to have her killed. So why Oscar wasn't interested is because he was spending most of his time getting Dr. Rudy Wells to the wedding. He needed to get this dude to the wedding. Because it would be easier to detain and dispose once the couple was out of bionic eyesight. So Oscar now is in full cleanup mode. He knows that the gig is up. Is that what it is? And so he's like, I got to get rid of him. So he's going to kill Jamie and Steve, and then he's going to get rid of the doctor at the wedding. Okay. So now we have a little aside. The calamity that was about to ensue came courtesy of the bionic uterus that Dr. Rudy Wells secretly implanted during Jamie's surgery. At this point, if anybody is squeamish, I'm going to have you just go. There's only 42 people watching all over on every platform, a total of 42 people. I'm going to lose 40 of them, and I'll be fine with it. The jig is up. Perfect. So here's the deal. If you are squeamish, this is going to get real bad. Because I'm a child. I'm still watching $6 Million Man at the age of 5 to 8. I have not matured at all. So Dr. Rudy Wells secretly implanted a uterus. Now, why would he do that? Dr. Wells was the lead scientist for the OSI's fertility division. Remember that? Remember that arc where that spray that made the test? He was the lead on that. He loves reproduction. He can't get enough of it. So he was the head of that division and was in a kind of bionic baby armor. So he was in kind of a bionic baby arms race with his former associate in bionics research, Dr. Jason Haviland. Dr. Jason Haviland, that was the big arc of Dr. Will's story in Bionic Ever After. Dr. Haviland was his, like, they had a falling out because Dr. Haviland made a lot of bionic stuff that Dr. Wells got credit for. So again, after that, they lost touch, but he was still in this bionic baby arm, like, I'll show Dr. Haviland. And he believed that Dr. Haviland was like, I'll show that guy. We're going to make bionics. But Dr. Wells had a falling out with Dr. Haviland over the number of abortions each of them had during their previous experiment. So they were both in a bragging, like they were constantly getting pregnant and then saying, well, I had more abortions than you, because they are also children. He had sex with her after putting, nope, oh, what? Oh, that's actually in the show. In the show Bionic Ever After, he kisses her inappropriately. Like the doctor kisses Jamie inappropriately. So that ground's already been covered. So I'm taking the high road here. This is the high road. So they were in an abortions arm race. They say who had more, because again, they're children. So neither man had seen or heard from each other in decades, but they were still in competition, or Dr. Wells assumed they were. Dr. Wells was both a pioneer in both bionics and fertility, which is why he was so proud of his latest enhancement. The bionic uterus he implanted in Jamie could gestate a child within minutes of being impregnated. Not only that, the bionic uterus was also highly efficient and could fertilize an egg with just a single sperm cell. See, like he's a pioneer. So he has made a uterus that is highly, like it is fast and efficient. The two best things. Now we got to get the cost down. That's the thing. That's for marketing. That's for purchasing and marketing. Oh no, he's more proud than that, Ark. So although he boasted the device's 1-to-1 efficiency, 1 sperm to 1 egg reproduction, being a man of science and because Jamie was now well into her 40s, Dr. Wells didn't want to leave anything to chance. Instead of having 1 million of Steve's sperm cells attempt to inseminate one of Jamie's eggs, Dr. Wells modified Jamie's bionic uterus to house 10,000 viable eggs at once. Bionic sperm indeed. Bionic sperm comes up. Once Jamie awoke from her surgery, Dr. Wells couldn't wait to see how well his device would handle Steve's bionic seed. There you go. Steve's bionic seed, Bankrupt Mary. So he could shove that result in Dr. Haviland's face. So let's say Dr. Wells couldn't wait to see how well his device would handle Steve's bionic seed so he could rub it in Dr. Haviland's face. A man of science. He's learned nothing. So here I'm going to see if we can go back. This is when she wakes up. By the way, that thumbnail is hilarious. So she wakes up out of surgery, right? And
To keep you from carrying on.
This is her post-surgery, and he's like, get ready. She's like, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You saved my life.
Don't know what to say.
And he goes, huh,
You're welcome.
you're welcome.
I made some improvements.
I made some improvement. Oh, can you hear this? I think you can.
Like.
Oh, he kisses her on the freaking forehead. Like, the most, and like the look on her face is priceless, because that's exactly, I'm like, what? Why is the doctor kissing me on the freaking head? What is this about?
I don't know
Thank
what
you.
to say.
He just leans in. He's like, you're welcome.
I made some improvements.
Oh.
I think you like.
I think you'll like them. She's like, what? And there's a kissing noise too. Like I'm not making a joke. That's not in post. That is happening real time. What? Yeah, okay, good. Thank you for, yeah. But it's like, why is he doing this? Now, somebody on TikTok said that, the doctor had a familial relationship because he was responsible for Jamie. Like, she was like his child. Still, I would not be shoving bionic parts into my child and being like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You're going to like it. I guarantee it. It's like the freaking Men's Warehouse doctor. Okay. So now we know he is releasing, because I think women, I don't know if there's any women here. I think they should be gone. Every woman should have left this thing already. Please do. A woman, I guess, is born with all of the eggs they're ever going to have. So I think there's like 3 million eggs. I don't know. I'm a guy. I don't know anything. I only know health class. So a woman is built. You have 3 million eggs from birth, and you don't get any more. And then you constantly, like as you get older, there's fewer to pull from, and also they aren't as viable as you get older. Again, this is my limited middle school knowledge. I have not spent a lot of time with women's uterine or ovary research. That is a fault in me. But yes, I know that they only have so many. And I guess by 40, you may have like 300,000 left. So I'm like 10,000 is a good number. And again, I might be wrong. So I need a co-writer, a woman co-writer. If there's any woman here who wants to help me co-write this. Okay. So the doctor's very proud. He can't wait to see what happens with his bionic uterus. However, as the helicopter that takes Steve and Jamie away, as the helicopter containing his latest bionic masterpiece disappears behind the trees, Oscar Goldman places a hand on Dr. Wells' shoulder and whispers, "Sayonara, motherfucker," which he would not do. But it's so out of character. You'd be like, whoa, what is he doing? He says, "Sayonara." I don't know. I don't even have any notes. But as he cuts the doctor's throat, and in one continuous motion, he lays the body atop a busing cart as OSI agents dressed as caterers throw a tablecloth over the top and wheel that cart off of a cliff. "One down, two to go," says Oscar as he wipes the last evidence of Dr. Wells' existence from his hands with a death to us part napkin designed by the OSI Events and Celebration Division. So the OSI has they have so much money that they have a division exclusively for these ruses. And it's so good that they were able to print napkins and commemorative things for this wedding. For me, I think that's freaking hilarious. I don't know why, to have an entire division, you're like, oh my God, the heat's on us. I got to kill these people. But fully still having a freaking events and celebrations division, that'll stay. People are so expendable to the OSI that are like, whatever, we'll insert crazy parts into them and we'll kill them. Anything to stave us the budget for events and celebrations. Okay. The wedding's over. One down. Oscar Goldman is whatever. So this is, again, if we didn't lose you already, that you've been warned. Steve and Jamie's helicopter arrives at Fort something or other. Again, anybody want to give me a name for a funny fort? Or I have something, because in the 90s, hang on a sec, what did I call this? I called it something stupid like Camp Clinton or Fort Couch. Something dumb, right? I don't know what it, just a dumb name. Bankrupt Barry, if you have any good dumb names, I'll take them. But yeah, so they wind up at Fort something or other. Yes, they want the wedding to look realistic. Correct. They are crushing it. The event and celebrations department, they are S tier. They are probably the best part of OSI. And you know what? Now that you say that, I feel like they should have been, with the downsize of OSI, they should be, that should be spun off or acquired by private equity. Fortnite. Oh, that's not bad either. I'm going to put that in there. Ark, I'm going to put Fortnite in there. Perfect. Even though it's 94, it's Fortnite. And it could be KNIGHT. And it could be formerly Knight Rider. I love this. Thank you, Ark. You get writing credit. Okay. Steve and Jamie's helicopter arrives at Fort something or other. We'll call it Fortnite. I'm going to put that right there. Watch. Fortnite. Formerly Fort Knight Rider. And then I'll have to make a little note for that. Hang on, I'm going to make a note for that. Why do I make a note of that? Hang on a sec. Government tie-in to car company. Okay, so I'm going to make a Knight Rider tie-in too. Even though I was too old for Knight Rider. I watched Knight Rider. And oh my God, what is it? Dukes of Hazzard. Jeez, oh man, I watched a lot of TV. Okay. Steve and Jamie's helicopter arrives at Fort Knight, and a soldier quickly gets them disembarked and points over to a 1950s era barracks just off the landing site. As they both struggle to keep Jamie's wedding veil from being sucked up into the rotor, the couple exchange an uncomfortable glance after catching a glimpse of their post-nuptial lodgings, which look pretty terrible. They don't look good. It looks like just like what is it? An oil drum cut in half. Good Lord. This is not easy to do. Oh, I can still blow it up. Okay, there it goes. I just have to be over. That's as big as it gets. It's just basically a really crappy looking hovel, right? And they exchange glances like, oh my God. From the outside, their accommodations look more like an oil drum cut in half than a honeymoon suite. However, Steve and Jamie both know this is just the next stop in their mission, which was, as Oscar so fittingly put it, getting you two lovebirds out of the coal mine. Okay, I guess that's accurate. The screen door to the barracks was nearly sent off its hinges by the helicopter's arrival. However, the actual door to the barracks required a bionic nudge from Jamie's shoulder to pry out of its frame and into the room. In stark contrast to the outside, inside of the barracks was decorated to the nines, like a five-star hotel in Dubai. The OSI's events and celebration team not only had outdone themselves, but saved their best surprise for last. This is what the room looks like. It's very, very fancy. See, it's a super fancy room. It's got and again, very, very expensive. And again, it's the events and celebrations team. Like, how much money did that cost? It looks like a crack den, but it's gorgeous on the inside because it was like a surprise, but also who cares what the outside looks like? They want to make it look nondescript. The OSI's events and celebration teams are the most competent division inside of OSI. Just unbelievable. So once they're inside, Steve, with a smirk, says, when it comes to OSI, it looks like I shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Jamie, lightheartedly while rubbing your shoulder, says, had I known this is what was in store for us, I'd have had you carry me across the threshold instead of bashing it down. Steve says, why, Miss Austin, I had no idea you were so sentimental. It sounds good if you hear it in Lee Majors' voice. I don't do a good Lee Majors. Anyways, Jamie throws her arms over her husband's shoulders. Not sentimental, just a little sore from the door and the helicopter and the surgery. Steve abruptly and caringly kisses Jamie with the same kiss. Can't remember. Hang on a sec. Wait. There's a gag kind of like that in an Alex Winter movie, Freaked. What? No, really? Wait, the gag is it looks good on the inside, or that there's a department of events. You're going to have to clarify because we may be back a couple seconds. Anyways, I don't think I've seen the Alex Winter movie. I don't think I've seen that. Almost every movie you talk about, Bankrupt Barry, I've seen, which is awesome. But that one I have to take a look. I'll have to take a look at that. I didn't steal anything is what I'm getting at. Please, you can't hold that against me. I haven't seen it. All right. It's different enough. Okay, good. I can get away with it. All right. What can't you remember? For some reason, I thought the place from Cars on the outside. I think Fillmore lives, or Sarge. I can't remember. Oh, so it's that's in Hawaii. That image I got was from Hawaii. And I was going to use a reference to Gomer Pyle USMC. Who's going to know that? Bankrupt Barry, that's it. Looks tiny on the outside, and then it's a cathedral on the inside. Yeah, it's a House of Leaves barracks. It's larger. It has a descending spiral staircase into cosmic horror. That's what this is. But, that's the freaking events and celebrations team. They can spruce up anything. All right. What is that? It's Doctor Who. It's the Tartarus. That's what it is. If House of Leaves didn't resonate, Tartarus should read. Okay, so now here we go. We're almost there. So Steve abruptly, caringly, and clumsily. I should say clumsily. I think that's what it is. Steve abruptly and clumsily. I think it's just a spell check. Yeah, because I don't think I spelled that right either. Okay, kisses Jamie, which silences her mid-sentence. After a few awkward word and tender moments, Jamie smiles. Why, Mr. Austen, I'm a married woman. I can't succumb to your seductive charms, she says. Steve, moving her over to the bed, says, maybe just this once, Miss Austen. I promise not to make this thing a habit. Just uncomfortable. TARDIS. Thank you. I said Tartarus. What? It's like it's Hades. I'm going back to Greek mythology. I apologize, Progressive. Yes, TARDIS. Thank you. The freaking booth, the phone booth, whatever. Yes, Tartarus is from Greek legend. It's what is that? What is Tartarus? It's like the. Now I'm going to ruin it. I should know what that is because it's in another thing I just watched. Listen. I'm already an idiot. Let's not make it any worse. Okay, so he moves her to the bed. The camera pans upward and the music swells for a few moments as we get a showcase of some of the exceptional work being done by the OSI's events and celebrations team. Limestone candle holders carved from the western wall of Jerusalem adorn the tables of while a mulberry silk canopy flows down over the bed. The floor is covered with an ornate, hand-woven Persian rug that looks like it was taken straight from the Abu Dhabi Sheikh Zayed Mosque itself. Incredible. Tartare. Tartar sauce. Tantalus. Tentacle fish? Sauce for fish? I think that's what it is. That's how Doctor Who gets around. He gets in this mayonnaise relish mixture. It's kind of gross. That's why I never got into it. Kind of freaked me out. So everything is gorgeous here. Lighting in the room is what. Wait, are we done already? It's not even a narrator. It's just me talking. It's like they're done already. That was all we got. We got like 18 seconds of like panning around the room. I guess it's back to the story. Steve lovingly to Jamie says, I've been to outer space, fought with a Bigfoot, but that, bar none, was the greatest experience of my life. Jamie, smiling, says, we can probably talk to Dr. Wells when this is all over to see if there's anything he can do about making that last a little longer. Great, see? She's the comic relief. Very saucy indeed. That's from Ark. Ark wrote that in the chat. Jamie goes silent and has a blank look on her face. So she delivers that line, has a blank look. Steve is now oblivious and he's like, sorry, what was that? I had my bionic ear turned down. And when Jamie doesn't respond, he becomes moderately concerned. He goes, everything all right, dear? All right. Damn. Zing. You got it. That's right. Yeah, I know. Taking shots at the $6 million man. They got freaking $6 million, which is, I think, $45 million worth of bionics in them. And they're like, that thing's fine. It does what it does. It still works. He lost both legs and an arm and his eye. And they're like, that'll do. She's roasting him about lasting long enough. Right. And here's the thing. She's in pain. She went through surgery and it still wasn't like worth it. The 18 to 30 seconds was not worth that time. So Steve is like, everything okay? Soon Jamie is starting to shake uncontrollably as she mentions something feels wrong. The 6 Second Man. Yeah, that could be that's another working title. The 6 Second Man. Jamie starts to shake uncontrollably as she feels that as she says something feels wrong. The sounds coming from inside Jamie's body sound like a gin still that's about to tear itself apart. In keeping with the OSI's policy of secrets, Jamie was never informed of her biotic uterus or that she'd be giving birth in about 15 seconds. Additionally, she would have no idea that her bionic musculature would cause her offspring to be delivered at speeds of 1,200 kilometers an hour. Okay, we have 2 pages left after this. So if this is like, it's going to get a little over the top. And again, I don't think this is going to get greenlit. Oh, I finished part 1. You ought to, oh shoot, what are we talking about? Somebody's writing me here. I'm doing, God dang it. Hang on a sec. I got to see. You out-substance the substance back in the 90s. Oh, nice. Cool. I love it. So, okay. Here we go. So she's going to be giving birth in 15 seconds. And again, she does not know what's happening because the doctor's like, I made a few enhancements that I think you'll like. She has no idea because they don't tell anybody. Okay. As babies began exploding at Mach 1 from his wife, Steve had no time to comprehend what was unfolding before his bionic eye. He only has one. And I don't mean it's the one down there. They need to work on that. He just knew he needed to use every bionic bone, again, not the one down there, in his body to get Jamie out of that small room where he might have a chance of intercepting one of these children from evaporating into the immaculately decorated walls of the barracks. So I'm trying to keep this as lighthearted as possible. They are evaporating instantly because they are hitting the walls at 1,200 miles an hour. He cannot stop them. So he's like, I got to get her out of here just to see if I can save some of these. It's pretty graphic. Steve began running like a linebacker and charged into Jamie. When he made contact with her torso, he locked arms firmly around her and proceeded to run towards the barrack door at full speed. All the while, Jamie is still discharging newborn babies at an incredible pace. Steve hits the door with his free shoulder, and the entirety of the front wall blows out into curled shards of rusted metal. Okay, so she's outside. He lays Jamie on the ground, but the force of the bionic uterus is too much for her body. With the birth of each baby, her body contorts in wild directions, ultimately causing her... Good Lord. Again, this is very difficult for me because I am a big fan. What did they do to her? He's dead. The doctor's dead. He was killed. He has no idea what he's done. He's spared this. With the birth of each baby, her body contorts in wild directions, ultimately causing her to launch children like a potato cannon into the air. So now she's just launching them straight up. Steve is frantically using his bionic eye to map out the trajectories of each baby, but the onslaught of deliveries being cannoned out is just too great. And I love the visual, I have it on the side, of like, she's launching, and he has that like red vision, and it's like, it says trajectory, and the numbers go up real quick, and then it says like Nevada or like Idaho. Like it's being launched 3 states over. Like it's just a madhouse. It won't stop. Steve succumbs to grief as the weight of the scene eventually collapses into a singularity around him. He is just collapses to his knees. At that point, the camera pans up in slow motion to give the viewer an idea of the madness. Fires erupt as babies are launched through everything from the helicopter that delivered them to their honeymoon suite to the plane that Oscar had arranged to take the couple to their death. Babies are being launched in and blowing up everything. We catch a glimpse at the horror that Austin has yet to become aware of, as with his head in his hands, he cannot tell that Jamie's uterus is the only part of his wife that is even remotely still alive. With some of her body, her head mostly, is still in the bed where they consummated their marriage 5 minutes ago. So when he tackles her and gets her outside, her body has just fallen apart. So she has been dead from the start. She's been spared a lot of this. Thank God. So she's been dead. Like it's just now a torso spewing out babies. Oh God. Some of her body, her head mostly, is still in the bed where they consummated their marriage just 5 minutes ago. But all this was the end of one chapter and the beginning of 30 years of troubles for the OSI and Steve Austin. Okay, so that's the start. That is like right after. Now again, you're like, well, that's just the beginning. How much more? I'm like, it gets fast because it's 3 decades later. We find out what's happened over 3 decades. Again, is this a waste of everybody's time? Please tell me if it is. I don't care. You're watching it, but I hope it's not. This is what I do. I make stupid stories. And again, Bankrupt Barry, you're an inspiration because I was like, forget it. Nobody watches any of my stuff. But watching yours, I'm like, how must that feel? The amount of time and effort you've put in to see like 300 views. You make a great joke of it, but man alive, like your sense of humor and your work effort alone or ethic alone dwarfs that of my production. And so I'm like, you've inspired me to do this. You are part of my inspiration. Elephant Graveyard's another one, because that is just, with AI doing what it does, you're the best. Yeah, so here's the deal. Once the public became aware that OSI, this is 3 decades later. So after this is where it fades out, and then it says the year is, it would probably be 20. What would the year be? So let's just say 1980. It would be 2010. So this is we'll say this is 2012. Awesome. So once the public became aware that OSI had not only built a baby cannon, the way I see this going, thank you, Barry, you're awesome. Seriously, but yeah, your stuff's killer. So here's the thing. Just like at the beginning of Resident Evil 4, there's a narrative kind of like visual here. What the hell? Bobber Killer. What the heck is this? Is this like I don't even know what that is. Chris. Hello, Chris. Jeez, I didn't even see you guys joining, because I'm not looking over there. Bober Killer. Whatever. Bo Burnham Killer. EG's editing and humor are unreal. Dude, it is like, I can't figure him out. He's like the funniest. Like his takedowns alone escalate him to like S tier. Then like the Neil deGrasse Tyson is probably one of the best pieces of art I've seen. The takedown of him from the start, like just being a miserable human being to crying at, oh my gosh. Oh, billions and billions. Why can't I think of his? Oh my God. Cosmos. Why can't I think of his name now? Oh my God. This is my old brain going. Who did Cosmos? God, why? They do. They belong in the Louvre. Oh my God. You're going to figure it. You know it better than I do. Anyways, the fact that he's just copying somebody else's work, parroting somebody else's work, he has no original ideas. Carl Sagan. God dang it. I cannot believe I couldn't figure that out. Thank you, Barry. Again, you saved my life. Okay. Here's the deal. This is shown in like a stock ticker. Thank you, Progressive Geek. Everybody knows, like, you're like watching me like die over here. Like, I can't figure it out. It's terrible. I should. I watch Cosmos growing up. I know Carl say again, it's terrible. It's no excuse. Well, there is. I'm aging out. So, public sentiment is angry. Once they became aware that OSI had not only built a baby cannon, but they were building bionic cybernetic humans since the 70s, there was a reckoning. The backlash to Stephen Jamie Austin being bionic sparked the ongoing debate if these two were even human to begin with. What defines humanity? That's what started 30 years ago. Mobs formed outside government offices in the US and abroad. Any world leaders who met with Steve and Jamie were considered bionic sympathizers and either jailed or executed on the spot. In America, Oscar Goldman claimed that Dr. Wells had been using some of his mind control on me, which is why he never said anything about the robots. He feigns complete, like, I had nothing to do with anything. I was under the mind control of Dr. Wells. Oscar wound up selling the rights to his story and became a regular contributor on Fox News. He died a very wealthy man many, many years later. So Oscar Goldman doesn't get his comeuppance. He wins. What remained of Jamie's body was considered property of OSI. When that department shuttered, all bionic assets were cataloged and sold to private investors at auction. Very little was heard about the bionic technology OSI had created, but every few months you'd hear of a billionaire who was found dead under a pile of newborn babies or a piece of reproductive technology being sold again at a high price. So that bionic uterus is now being sold to billionaires who are doing whatever with them, and they're dying. So that's a positive. A net positive is that the baby cannon is killing people. Didn't Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys have a cat named? Yes. No. I think you're correct. Oscar Goldman. That's exactly what the reference is. It's freaking awesome. Oscar Goldman is a classic. Like, anytime I try to come up with some just corporate military / secret government person, it's always Oscar Goldman. And the best news about Oscar is that he had, I can't remember, was it Manbot or something in an episode, Progressive, you might know this. Like there was somebody who was impersonating. It was a robot that was impersonating Oscar Goldman. So it looked like Oscar Goldman, but its face came off and it was like beep, boop, 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 boop. It was terrible. I think it was Manabot. I don't know. It was terrible. It was the 70s. What remained of Jamie's property, but the auctions of her uterus keep going out there. So originally I had planned for Dr. Jason Haviland filing for bankruptcy and his assets being liquidated. And those assets contained the patents for modifications, but that's a much longer storyline. We just are going to say it's just been sold and billionaires keep killing them. Yes. With no support from Oscar, because Oscar abandons Steve Austin once they aren't dead. Like, with no support from Oscar and no time to understand what happened and or grieve for the love of his life, Steve disappeared. Initially, he attempted to escape to the Pacific Northwest. But ICE agents had received a tip from Bigfoot, who stated that he and his family didn't feel safe as long as robot people with baby guns remained free. So that's Bigfoot. His friend Bigfoot turned on him. Once Bigfoot had made his statement, ICE agents took him into custody while they deported his Bigfoot wife and Bigfoot children to El Salvador. It's current. You see? Don't work with ICE. They extradite, they send Bigfoot's family to El Salvador. And I don't think they connected him. They just deported his family and left him in custody. We don't know what happens to Bigfoot, but you don't rat. You don't rat on Steve Austin. Years passed. Society became more accepting of the bionic people and cybernetic enhancements. Once there was a place for enhanced cybernetic people, Dr. Jason Haviland's daughter, Kimberly, locates Steve. When she finds him, Austin asks, "How'd you track me down?" She holds up a device that looks like a 1980s garage door opener. She says with compassion and confidence, "I always knew where you were, Steve. All my father's bionics were trackable from the start. I just wanted to give you the space and time to heal." Steve says angrily, "You never heal from something like what I went through." Kimberly's understanding and says, "I know what you saw, what you experienced. It's impossible to comprehend. But I want to help explain. I want to help explain what happened and see if we can repay you for just some of the things you've done. You were the original bionic man. We have made incredible advancements thanks to your bravery and service. I want to make things right." This could be much longer, but I'm just cutting through the treacle here. She could talk about like how his bionics have helped to save millions, given sight to so many, but you get the gist. This is the 10,000 foot version. I want to make things right. Steve belligerently goes, "Make things right? Jesus, what are you going to do? Rebuild my broken brain the same way Oscar and your dad rebuilt my broken body?" He's still pretty angry. Kimberly says, "No, I want you to talk. Talk about your experience and share your story." So that's the rebuilding journey. She pulls him back. She is now a professor. She is a professor. She went to find him when it was right, when the time was right. She's going to take the initiative. You know what I got to do? You know what I have to do? I actually have to, hang on a sec. Why is my live ending on TikTok? Come on. Hold on. I hate this. I hate TikTok. You're driving me crazy, TikTok. I'm trying to get this puzzle piece to match. Oh, never mind. If TikTok ends, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. Good Lord. So she's going to be his emissary during his reconstruction, like his personal rebuilding. Like he is so important to the field of bionics. She is going to now sacrifice her reputation and all of her grant funding to get him, to make him square. You got to pay the tariff. Wait, what is that? Bionic, wait a minute, I missed some stuff here. I've seen that reference before. I wonder where it's from. Bionic uteri showing up on eBay. This is great stuff. See, that's what I'm talking about, right? Like you could, for a show, you could have this auction, like do a Sotheby's auction where it's actually going off, like where the one painting was ground up in a shredder. Like you could have this uterus exploding like in the background. Then you could see it up on eBay or on Craigslist. Slightly used bionic uterus. I've seen it on Family Guy and The Simpsons. There's no way you've seen a bionic uterus. There's no way. I've seen it referenced. Wait, what have you seen referenced, Ark? You've seen Oscar Goldman reference. Oscar Goldman's, yeah, he's part of the zeitgeist. He has definitely been mentioned on Family Guy, but not an exploding bionic uterus. That's this. This guy made that. I will go to court saying that I was the person who brought the bionic uterus into the $6 million man bionic wiki. Okay, you got to pay the tariff. Oh, I hate the stupid puzzles TikTok started doing. I've never seen this before, Progressive. Never. It is crazy because it's not letting me line up. Oh, it just did. Great. No, the faceless. Yes, 100%. That's exactly it. So that is an Oscar Goldman reference. It's like boop, boop, boop. Yes, that is it. The Banksy uterus. That is, again, Bankrupt Barry. This writes itself. Like you can make these scenes so funny. So now, here we go. We are 30, let's just say this is about 35, maybe even 40 years later. Steve Austin is now in a college lecture room. Steve, the $6 million man Austin, is facing the class of about 100 undergraduates and a course in 20th century history. He has come at the request of Professor Kimberly Haverland. With her support, Austin has worked to rebuild his faith in humanity, as well as parts of his brain thanks to advances in bionics. The students in the class stare slack-jawed while Austin tells stories of the heyday of the space program and with OSI. With society's modern acceptance of bionics, he's viewed as just another speaker. However, even after all these years, some of the girls in the classroom are finding themselves enraptured with his rugged good looks. Even many of the boys are finding themselves green with envy, wishing that someday they could be the ones with the right stuff, because he was an astronaut. Steve Austin was an astronaut. That's how he became the Bionic Man. Because of failure of they brought him into space, and then they're like, the control stick. I actually made a video of that too, because it's freaking hilarious. They're like, dude, time out, sidebar, very quick. Sorry, I'll get to the end of this. I know people have other things to do. This is crazy. Steve Austin, astronaut, was nearly killed because his ship, they brought it up to the edge of space, and then they came down to land, and he landed in the desert, but there was a control issue in the thing as he's coming down to the ground that it fails right before he hits the ground, and that's what causes the accident that kills him. Okay, so here's the deal. That's what happened to Steve Austin. There's a $6 Million Man movie that I've never seen, but it's about his son. So Steve, before he got married to Jamie in 94, he got married to somebody else, and they had a kid in the 1960s. This is part of the Bionic Wiki. I didn't know any of this. The fun fact, I'm named after the Bionic Woman. No way! That's incredible. That is awesome. Oh, I knew we had more in common than just our K treatments. That is so freaking great. I love it. I love it. So that is beautiful. Anyways, Jamie Summers, because I know you got the first and last name. That's your middle name is Summers. Perfect. Got it. So I'm so glad you did not see Rhetorical Oracle. I'm so glad you did not see what happened to Jamie. It is terrible. This is like, I made a bionic treatment. This is going to be good because you'll like this because you're in the college spectrum. You may enjoy this. So anyways, here's the deal. Let me finish up that story. So they had a kid in the 1960s. Steve Austin's son is bionic. How did that happen? I did not know. First off, he had a son. Second off, I did not know he was bionic. He was bionic because he followed in his father's footsteps and had an accident just like his father, same accident. I'm like, don't you think that happens once? Like, it's like the Challenger happens, the Space Shuttle Challenger, and they're like, shoot, well, we got Christine McAuliffe's kid here. Let's do everything in our powers to make sure all those O-rings are sealed and nothing happens. They're like, no, what are the chances it's going to happen to two people in the same family? Like, you would do everything in your power to prevent it, but the storyline for the bionic child is that he had the same accident as Steve Austin. Like, were the writers they were not introduced to cocaine back in the 70s? Like, like they're like, we have no ideas for how a child could be injured and become like bionic. I had the same thing happen to his dad. I'm like, fix your freaking ships, OSI, for God's sakes. Okay, so here's the deal. They're in a classroom. The girls are enamored. The boys are jealous. So Steve and society is healed. Like bionics are no longer a 4-letter word. They never were. So Austin says, so to get into one of those space capsules, maybe you have to be just as crazy as brave. Laughter and murmurs of approval from the class. Well, then, this is where it gets good. The student says, in the front row goes, did you ever get scared? Austin chuckles. Well, let me tell you. And then for no apparent reason, Austin stops talking in an eerily similar way to Jamie when she gave birth after they consummated the marriage. He has the same look on his face. The student looks a little scared and says, Mr. Austin, inexplicably, Austin's right leg kicks straight up at 300 miles an hour. The momentum of this act throws the rest of his body 15 feet into the air. Austin attempts to break his fall with his arms on the way down, but he is unsuccessful. The first thing he hits is the upper row of teeth on the chalk tray. A puff of red mist instantaneously marks the spot of impact. The students en masse and with much confusion rush forward to the scene of the incident. Students are like, oh my God, Mr. Austin, we need some help. Everybody's willing. They're all like, get over here, get over here. Austin groans, barely conscious. Now, from his point of view, we see one of the girls that had been mooning over him from her seat bend over and voice concern. Suddenly, a deafening sound of banging metal fills the room and everybody jumps. The girl goes limp. The camera pulls back to reveal her leg shattered in 4 places. Austin is now in a fetal position, but his left leg is kicking the metal podium with the force of a jackhammer. Wham, 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 over and over again. The supersonic sounds drowning out the thought of everyone within earshot, but it cannot disguise the scene of absolute panic that has pervaded the room. In the corner is a girl tucked into a ball rocking. Just off camera, we hear the sounds of one overwhelmed student retching uncontrollably. Austin says, "Get help! Get away from me!" His words trail off as he eventually loses consciousness. Mercifully, the hydraulics from within the bionic man cease, and their high-pitched caterwauling and the blur that was his legs moment ago have finally come to rest. The room is silent, save for the sounds of weeping. Student says, "Come on, let's stand him up. Come on, Steve, just take it easy." A low, ominous sound. It's music, it's a keyboard strike. A low, ominous sound in the background suggests subliminally this might not be such a good idea. One male student is standing under each of students. One male student is standing under each of Austin's shoulders, supporting him. Just then, Austin's stomach muscles, strained to the point of failure from his hellish kick session, give way, and his abdominal contents start to seep out through his navel. Before long, a loop of intestine protrudes through the button of his shirt, slowly at first, but then quickly exploding out like an anchor's chain from a battleship. So this is from The Running Man. I don't know if anybody read The Running Man, but probably everybody did. Bye-bye. It was wonderful seeing you, rhetorical. So The Running Man, when at the end in Stephen King's story, he's on the plane and his intestines are coming out. That's where I pulled that from. But it's exploding out of him like a battleship chain. That's just a visual I wanted in there. A student supporting Austin Wright's side says, oh shit, and gets away from Austin. He's like, oh my God, and jumps away. However, Austin is now ashen colored and his eyes are glassy and blinking out of sequence. His shirt is sopping with blood, and it is obvious to everyone that he is now dead. Everyone that can has moved as far away from him as possible, but he's still standing. Suddenly, his fists begin clenching and unclenching spasmodically. There is screaming, and the students are rushing over one another for the exit. Inexplicably, Austin's legs break out into a full 60-mile-an-hour run, and his right arm begins swinging like a windmill. The arm is moving so fast that it starts to make a whistling noise. Sheer panic, hoarse cries of terror and gurgling as the students realize that the exits were locked earlier, according to Austin's request, to show what it would be like to be in space and not to be able to simply walk out the door, as it were. Doubtless, if this was really a space capsule, many students would now prefer to be out in the cold void of space, because now in their classroom come space capsule, Austin's body is running autonomously to and fro, head bobbing wildly, with one deadly bionic arm pounding all in its path. The last thing we see before a fade to black and cut to commercial is the head of one student, too paralyzed to move, being crushed like a paper bag under the full, merciless, unthinking arm of astronaut, American hero, and scientific marvel, Steve Austin. So, it has everything. It has bionic uteri. It has a redemption arc for Steve Austin. What have I missed? What am I not covering here? I think we got everything. Yeah, so that's what I do. Hopefully I have not lost everybody. But hey, V, I am going to figure out how to get TikTok back on the visual train. It's a story. It's better than Bionic Ever After, 100%. Yes, so hopefully this lets you know where my head's at, and why I probably don't have a platform on TikTok anymore. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think. I totally am interested, because I'm doing this on my own. I have no idea how you guys view this. This is great. I think we need a bit more emphasis on the bedraggled intestines as he charges around the room. I'm all for a collab on this. I'm all for making this. I did a lot of shorthand here trying to get the major beats, but this could be a short. This could be a 12-minute segment, like, oh gosh, oh my God. Hang on a sec. Korgoth of Barbaria. It was a 12-minute pilot. You can make a 12-minute pilot out of this. It's 7 pages. I just have to add 5 more pages. We could pad this out. No doubt in my mind. Bankrupt Barry, I cannot tell you how happy I am that you joined. I need a bit more emphasis on bedraggled as he charges around the room, or feet. There's so much. He's got so many, like his bionic eye. Like, here's the deal. What's powering Steve Austin? Is it uranium? Like, what is his power supply, right? It's not solar. That wasn't big in the 70s. It's not gasoline. My guess is that he's very radioactive. So I've completely not covered any of that. Like, he could be, dude, I've got a couple. I got another one I'm working on right now. It's the Love Connection one. But thank you. I will keep these up. And again, you are an inspiration, Mr. Barry. No matter what the fly says, no matter what your co-hosts say, I think you do good work, and I think you have good takes. And again, I'm really happy. Like, that's something I comment on all yours, both just to let you know there's people out there, but also to bump you up in the algorithm. Hopefully, like, they see that as engagement. But your takes have been pretty spot on with mine. Like, your thoughts on Bill Murray, the uncomfortableness of the actors. Like, there's a lot of things that you hit that I'm like, nobody talks about. Yeah, there's so much more we could do. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump out of here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to edit this down into something that's usable. But yeah, if you have ideas, we'll pick it up after. All right, everybody, I got to go. Bye.